my name is Lori. Welcome to We Are Quilters. This is Blabfest number 3. I can hear popping and sizzling coming from the kitchen. My husband's getting dinner ready. So, I have a couple topics to talk to you about that don't fit in other places. I am wearing my Grinch shirt, my favorite shirt. Well, not my favorite. I have another Grinch shirt that I love too, and my Grinchy ball earrings. Used to wear these. This really wound 5th graders up. Used to wear this to school on Fridays during the winter silly season. So I have a doll blanket update for you. I'm going to pop up a picture right here beside me. You can see that I've got the binding on. I will sew that on by hand in another episode later on. I also have I think it's an antique doll blanket behind me. I'm not sure if my grandmother made it or my Aunt Susan. Neither one of them were big into the quilting thing, so it's hard to tell, and neither one of them are here with us anymore to tell me who made this quilt. But it does have some Clifford the Big Red Dog fabric in it, so I suspect that my Aunt Susan made this for one of her daughters. I have no idea how I ended up with it and not one of her daughters, but I see that there is some feed sack fabric in it. That's why I suspected my grandmother had something to do with it. I also see that there are little satin triangles that don't really belong in a baby blanket for a doll, and that was my grandmother's trademark. If she liked it, she put it in a blanket. So I'm not sure where it came from. This one has some damage and wear to it, and I need to decide if I'm going to fix it and then pass it on to my granddaughter. So I need to decide what to do with it. But it is cute. It is a cute little blanket. I know that I will definitely put a binding on the outside edge. The back is made of pieced white flannel, and it's held up pretty well, so it must not have been played with too much. Last week, to change the topic, last week I talked about tools, 5 tools that some of them were odd or unusual that you should have. I forgot a couple, so I have a couple more to talk to you about. One is the rotary blade sharpener, and I know it's best to always change the blade, but sometimes you're in a rush, you don't have a chance to go out and buy a blade, and you can sharpen it to get by with for a little while longer. So the rotary blade sharpener. If you would like to see me use this, please comment below and I'll risk cutting myself in order to please you, my adoring public, next on the next Blabfest. Also, I have these fantastic timers. This one's the short one. It has 1 minute, 30 seconds, 10 minutes, 5 minutes. You turn it, it beeps and starts flashing at you for whatever the amount of time is, and it has a digital readout. There's also a longer one for 15, 20, 30, and 60 minutes that works the same way. These are great for when you're doing something you don't really love. Working on the big quilt machine is one of my things that I work really hard at it, and then I hurt myself, and I need to set a timer so I remember to take breaks. Next up on my list, I have things you write with, because they're not all really truly quilt items. Some of them are, like the washable marking pencils, and you know to always test those because sometimes they don't come out of certain fabrics. And I also have gel pens, and if it's going to be in the seam allowance and it's not a dark mark, I have white and gold and silver. They're great for marking when you were working on a dark fabric or you're marking an applique shape. I also have a Friction pen that is heat erasable. I have 2 regular pens, a blue and a black. Doesn't hurt to have a little variety. A good old pencil, a Ticonderoga pencil, one of my favorites. Holds a nice sharp point. And then I have a highlighter, and here's where I must confess. If I'm working in a magazine that belongs to me, sometimes I highlight pieces as I cut them if they're on a list. It's my magazine. Or I make a copy and I mark on the copy. But usually I just mark in my own books. Sorry to whoever inherits those next. So highlighters. When I kitted up the Christmas quilt that wasn't quite together, I knew what pieces I needed because I had highlighted as I cut printed pieces from the pattern list. So highlighters are a wonderful thing. Dollar Tree. Now that Thanksgiving is past, I want to talk a little bit about I am the sister that sews. And my other sister, and I have lots of halves and steps, but my other sister is the sister that cooks. So we all descended upon her house in Delaware near Ocean City, and she cooked Thanksgiving dinner for lots of us. Special shout out to my sister. Her grandbaby, Sadie, is on the left, and my grandbaby, Scarlett, is on the right. So my son and his wife and granddaughter came from Michigan. My daughter-in-law had never been to the Atlantic Ocean. Now, she had been to the Gulf of Mexico, but she'd never been to the Atlantic Ocean. So they got to go to the beach for the first time. So enjoy some of these cute little pictures. And there's even one of before when they were getting ready for the beach. And of course, my sister loves me, and so she allowed me to put a sewing machine in her house so that it would be there so I could sew anytime I want to come and visit, and I could do repairs for her. So I fixed a pair of curtains, and I got out the machine, and I had forgotten that this one has a vibrating shuttle. It is a motorized machine. I paid $5 for it at a yard sale. I saw it in the fall of that year, and the lady had 10 on it, and it was still sitting there in the spring when they had another yard sale, and they had it marked down to 5. And it has a beautiful case, and it runs very well, but you could hear it through the whole house because the flywheel is very heavy. I don't know a lot about this machine. It runs well. It's the perfect size for the spot my sister had to put the sewing table in. So it now lives at her house, and I was glad to be able to use it. And she keeps it for me, and she calls it Lori's Sewing Machine. I am so thankful that my sister and brother-in-law were willing to feed everybody, and they sent leftovers home with all of their guests, and they were wonderful host and hostess. I am very thankful for them. The next thing I have to show you are other people's projects. We had a sewing day with friends on Saturday, and my friend Diane, you saw her beautiful garden in Blabfest. She is making scrap Christmas stockings this year, and they are a nice roomy size to stuff gifts in, and they are very scrappy and wonderful. She did an excellent job picking fabrics. She has never done crumb quilting before, so they are fantastic. And today she is at home working on putting a nice silky lining, and she is using red velvet on the back. They will look absolutely beautiful hanging up this year. And the next project that my other friend Barb did it's a challenge for our little quilt camp at the 4-H camp here in the spring. And the challenge was to use multiple layers of felted wool and make something. They suggested a tree, and Barb is making a tree. And she has her circles, her pennies cut out, and she worked on stacking some of them and getting them fastened to the backing. But I didn't get a picture of that. Next time she'll have even more done, and it will be absolutely beautiful. It is coming together so nicely. I am not making a tree. if I get to that project, it is going to be a flower basket or a topiary or some other kind of wall hanging, but I want bright colored flowers and birds on mine. So, last question. Do you interchangeably use the word iron for the verb ironing, or do you say pressing? Is this a central Pennsylvania where I grew up thing, or is it a United States thing? I'm not sure, and I don't know at this point in my life if I can stop myself from saying ironing. Oh look, Nuggets come to help. Hi Nuggets. So let me know in the comments. This came up on Pin Cut Sew the other day, and she was trying her very best to only say pressing. And I know I just can't fix that if it's a problem. Sorry. I apologize ahead of time. Well, thank you for coming to Blabfest and joining me as I kind of ramble on. Please leave comments. I know that several of you have said that you enjoy Blabfest, and I am glad to hear that. I am enjoying my time just rambling on. Please remember to like and subscribe to help me grow my channel. Thank you for watching.